I would like to request the AV team to kindly play the introductory video.
Commander Abhilash Tomi, retired. Commander Abhilash Tomi was the first Indian and the second Asian to perform a solo, non-stop and unassisted circumnavigation of the Earth under sail. He is an alumnus of the Naval Academy at Goa, a maritime reconnaissance pilot by specialization. He has served in 2 operational squadrons, INAS 310 and INAS 31A. His awards and achievements include awarded the Kirti Chakra in 2013 and Nausena Medal in 2019. Finished second in the Golden Globe Race 2022 after 236 days of non-stop racing, and in the process became the only Asian skipper to win a podium finish in a world race in any format. Successfully completed Sagar Parikrama, a single-handed and non-stop circumnavigation of the Earth under sail in 2012-13 to become the first Indian and the second Asian to do so. Recipient of Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award 2012 and MacGregor Medal for Military Reconnaissance 2013. An author of 3 books.
You can see the entire Pacific from here. And then I'm here. Oh, that's my beautiful boat. Yeah, I got a bit of a beard. I'm not very good at trimming it, so I'm going to let it be. Even my hair is like... yeah, I got a lot of... no, not so much. It was a very difficult journey to make it this time to the hall, but I sighted it. The sun is setting over Brazil. I need to go somewhere there, so that's a plan. All right, ciao, ciao, bye.
Renil Ralph, a chartered accountant by profession. Renil currently holds the position of Chief Financial Officer at Bayanat. He has a wide breadth of experience across multiple geographies, working in the information technology and services industry. He has led multiple organizations through hyperbolic growth, M&A, transformation, and public market transactions, including an IPO that was the most successful trading debut in the world.
Let us all welcome the speaker and the moderator on stage. Can we turn on the mic? Oh, you already have yours? Perfect.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us? Okay, please. Check. I think I'm the most important one here. Please. You know, I wrote a very brief introductory note, and I sent it to Abhilash and said, should I introduce you like this? And he said, it'll be very formal. So I'm really happy that, you know, it actually was done by the MC themselves. It's a great pleasure to share a stage with Abhilash. The first time I met him, I was in awe. I can imagine that you're also feeling the same thing. It's very difficult to have been in the company of somebody who circumnavigated the globe solely, right? It's very difficult to come back in one piece, both physically and mentally. Come back in less, please. Yeah, so this is not the first time he's done it. So without further ado, I would like to start the conversation. I would like to tailor this as a conversation. If we have enough time, I would also like to give the opportunity for everyone to ask questions if they have questions. I know it's a post-lunch session, so we're trying to make it as interactive and as exciting as possible, so please participate. Abhilash, what actually prompted you to take this first step towards this journey?
So when I was a kid, things happened that shaped the course of my life. Can you hear me? Check. All right, so when I was a kid, things happened which shaped the course of my life. One, there was this voyage of Krishna where we had 6 army officers sail around the world with 19 stops. And this came as a documentary on Doordarshan. And that inspired me to go to sea. A pilot from my father's place, he was a naval officer, he died in a crash, and this became big news in Kerala. And that inspired me to become a pilot. And I realized that the only place where you can fly and sail is the Navy, so I didn't attend any engineering or medicine college, straight away joined the Navy, and from there the dream took off.
Amazing. But how did the idea of the Golden Globe race came to your mind?
In 2012, I did a single-handed non-stop circumnavigation of the Earth. It took me 151 days. At the end of it, when I finished it, there were less than 100 people who had achieved something like this. Now, if you compare this with, let's say, an adventure like climbing the Everest, roughly 6,000 people have climbed the Everest. Roughly 600 people have gone to space, but the number of people who have done a non-stop circumnavigation is less than 100. Now, understanding the significance of this moment, the Honorable President of India flew down to Bombay to give me a reception. Now, that's never happened before. In fact, I understood the significance of this event only a couple of years later when the President of America came to India as the chief guest of the Republic Day celebration, and he was not received by the President at the airport. All receptions are given at Rashtrapati Bhavan. Now, at that reception, I was told to give a speech. Right? Imagine this, we've been silent for 5 months, and suddenly you are asked to give a speech, and that in front of the President. So I spoke whatever came to my mind, and when I had to finish, I just turned to him and asked him, "Sir, can I go for one more round, please?" And he was laughing. But that opportunity was Golden Globe race. The first time I did it as an expedition, but with the Golden Globe race, I had an opportunity to go around the world as a race.
So one of the things that everybody needs to know is that Abhilash has actually cut short his invitation for the Republic Day event that is currently ongoing and made a point to be here with us, right? So that means can you share with us one of the most memorable moments that you had during the race?
Well, I had quite a few, visually beautiful moments. Let's say this time we had to pass through a gate in Cape Town, and I was heading out of Cape Town going into the Southern Ocean, and I turned back and I see a huge full moon rise, and you can see the check. Yeah, so I'm sailing out of Cape Town and I look back, it's night, you see the entire full moon rise, and you have in the foreground the Table Mountain, silhouette of the Table Mountain, and that looked beautiful. I remember once I was sailing off Chagos, and on the horizon I see a yellow light, and I think it's a boat, so I go and check inside on the radar, AIS, there's nothing. Then I see another light right next to it. So 2 light means it could be a ship more than 50 meters. And a ship bigger than 50 meters has to paint on radar. I come and check on the radar, nothing. AIS, nothing. And now I'm worried. It could be pirates, 2 pirates, right? And then I'm really worried. My heart rate is like going up. And I'm staring at those 2 lights. And after like 5 minutes, you see the moon rise like that. So it was one tip of the moon followed by the other tip, and the entire moon comes out. Now, these were the visually striking things that I saw, but there's another memory that I will never forget. 2018, I was doing this Golden Globe race around the world. The rules forbid you from using any technology later than 1968. So you don't have satellite internet. You cannot speak with your family. You know, you can't just pick a phone and make a sat call to your wife and ask what's happening. These are forbidden. You have a satellite phone, you can only speak with the race organizers. And nearly a month into the race, I'm enjoying my solitude, and I get a message from the race organizers. They say that I have to call my wife. Now, if the race organizers are asking me to break the rule, and if they're asking me to call my wife, it's got to be something important, right? I thought maybe she needed my Facebook password. She tried to ask for my Facebook password before I started the race. I gave her my credit card. This time my excuse was, I don't have a number. Right? I don't remember her number, so I'm not going to call her. And as soon as I had this thought in my mind, I get another message saying, this is a number, you got to call her. And I call my wife, and I speak to her, and she is like going on and on for 5 minutes. I don't feel any sense of urgency. And I got massive hearing loss. Now that helps with my marriage, but this time I was not following the conversation. So after 5 minutes, I stopped her and asked her, what exactly do you want? Right? What exactly do you want? As I see it, there is no sense of urgency. What are you trying to tell me for the last 5 minutes? And she's like, you idiot, you've not understood a single word of what I've said. I said, no, can you please be very precise and clear and tell me what exactly are you trying to tell me? And she tells me, I'm pregnant. You're going to become a father. That's what I've been trying to tell you. And I was like, okay, I'll call you back. I think I'll discuss it with all the friends around. 2 dolphins, 3 flying fish, some jellyfish. Nobody's interested in my problems. I call her back and I asked her, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to come back? And she's like, no, you can continue with the race. I've spoken to my parents, I've spoken to my friends, I've spoken to your parents, and they're all willing to help. Which was quite surprising because my dad came to know about my marriage through Facebook.
So that's the great stories, right? The beautiful memories, right? What are the challenges or things that you think happened to you that you would have avoided and maybe got rid of the entire scenario if there was one like that?
The worst part is always coming back.
So Abhilash, for those who don't know, he likes to spend a lot of time by himself, and when he came back we asked him what do you want to do next, and he said he wants to go again. Just like how we told the president. He said, I would rather spend time with myself. So one of the things that he took with him was a favorite book of mine as well. It's by Marquez, The 100 Years of Solitude, right? Was there anything else that helped you during your journey? Many days of solitude.
Well, this time I had a few books. So this time I didn't take Marquez. I took him in the first and second attempt. This time I had, a Dutch book, We the Drowned. And then I had another one which was from one of my most favorite gurus. It's called I Am That, and it's by a person called Nisargadatta Maharaj, and it's all existentialist philosophy. Then I had the the Count of Monte Cristo, 1984. These were the books that I carried with me. But other than that, no entertainment.
No entertainment, but how did you overcome the challenges? So there's this famous story about the bathroom door. Can you explain that to everyone?
All right, so the rules of the race state that once you start, you cannot stop anywhere, you cannot take anybody's help, and if you as much as borrow a ballpoint pen from someone, you get disqualified. Now imagine this, you spend 8 months sailing around the world non-stop, but you run out of water. You try to, take water from somebody, you're disqualified. So I had this problem, middle of the South Indian Ocean. I started with 270 liters of water. Middle of the South Indian Ocean, I was left with just 1 liter of water per day for the rest of the race. In fact, that's where it became a true Gulf boat. I had more diesel than water in the boat. So I had to somehow survive on 1 liter of water. I was having 1 cup of water in 2 days. I was having 2 cups of coffee every day. I was cooking rice in seawater and cleaning it with 1 cup of fresh water. That's how I survived. Now fast forward, On the 7th of February, I was hit by a very bad storm. My boat capsized and came back. And we have a rudimentary self-steering device. It's driven by wind and waves, right? It's purely mechanical. Now, if that stops functioning, then you can continue for maybe 48 hours. After that, you cannot stay awake, you cannot keep steering the boat, and you end up in severe hallucinations. Now, I was at the southwest tip of Chile. I was sailing in what's called lee shore. Lee shore is when the wind and waves are pushing you onto land. The bottom of the sea was rising from 3,000 meters to 100 meters, which meant that these, the waves, which are already some 4-5 meters, would become even taller and they start rolling, which is quite dangerous. There are no lights because there is no, human settlement, so there are no lights, no lighthouses. I don't have a GPS because GPS is not allowed. So in this scenario, my self-steering breaks. It's a huge aluminum paddle this big, it just splits. That was the last spare I had. So I text the race director. You've got a satellite texting device, you can speak to the race director directly. And he's the only person you can speak to. I texted him, I said, can I have one phone call with my team manager so that she can put a solution and tell me that we can do this and finish the race. And his answer was, of course, you can make a phone call, you can open your GPS, you can ask for pilotage, you can go into a harbor, take water, food, spares, check into a hotel, get a massage if you want, but you'll be disqualified. So that was out. The next thing that he did is he informs the Chilean MRCC saying there's this crazy guy with no GPS, no self-steering, sailing in a lee shore, he could be trouble, and they declare code orange. And then he calls my wife and tells her, we think it's over for Abhilash. He's not going to finish the race now. Now what I did, sitting on the boat, is I plucked out the toilet door and sawed a piece of wood and made a paddle. Plugged it in, that worked for 2 hours, it broke. Then I chopped a piece of wood from the emergency rudder, tried to plug that in, but it was too thick. I didn't have a chisel. I tried to make it thinner with just with a screwdriver and a mallet. Kept working on it, and I realized that it would take at least 1 week for me to make it thin enough. Finally, I dismantled the anchor, found an aluminum piece, plugged that in, and I sailed with that piece of aluminum from Cape Horn till France, which is almost 8,000 miles, 2.5 months of sailing.
No, we spoke about the positive aspects, the challenges, right? Were there any surprising elements or aspects of the race that you didn't anticipate beforehand?
Well, it was all anticipated, but factors, there was no weather update along the route. Now we do this race as if it's 1968. In 1968, there were a lot of radio stations that were constantly sending out weather information. And now, on paper, these radio stations still exist, and they have schedules, and they're supposed to be transmitting. But out at sea, you realize that 90% of them are shut down. So you're literally sailing blind around the world.
So for those who don't know, the boat is supposed to have technology that existed only in 1967, right?
68.
68, sorry. And the only advancement that was made was the GoPro camera that was attached to it. And the fact that, we as Bainath, we painted the boat with special paint to detect it on the satellite. So we also developed a model that we were using. But the most interesting thing is that he circumnavigated the whole world. And the South Atlantic is a bit of a problem, I've heard. So can you tell us a few examples of how you overcame the South Atlantic?
Well, the entire ocean is a problem. If you look at it that way, it is a problem. So you start from, Bay of Biscay. You start from the Sable d'Olonne, go into Bay of Biscay. Bay of Biscay, we had about 30 to 40 knot headwinds for nearly a week. And sailing into headwinds, boat is slanted 30 degrees, it goes up 4 meters, come down 4 meters. Let me translate it for, what it means when it comes to living in a boat. Now close your eyes, imagine you're back in your hotel rooms and you want to sit on the toilet and the toilet is at an angle of 30 degrees, right? That's no big deal because you guys are brave. You still decide to sit on it, and now you realize the toilet is going up 4 meters, down 4 meters, up 5 meters, down 5 meters. That's probably 5-6 meters, the ceiling. That's how high and low it goes. Now, if you want to use a toilet like that, my recommendation is to carry a polythene bag with you, because what goes in can come out the same way. And if you are environmentally conscious, you can probably carry paper bags. So that was Bay of Biscay. Get out of Bay of Biscay, there's a cyclone Daniel waiting for you. Get out of that, you got the doldrums. Now, sailing in rough wind is, it's tough. But sailing in no wind is frustrating. And there is heat, and the heat peels off layers of skin from your neck and from your thighs, and there is no water, and everything is like an oven. You cross the equator, and suddenly you find winds. You're happy for one day, but you get the same wind from the same direction for nearly a week. Those are the trade winds, and your boat is again at an angle of 30 degrees, going up and down, up and down. And finally, when you cross that and you go into the Southern Ocean, all hell breaks loose. What we say is that at 40 south, there are no rules. 50 south, there are no laws. 60 south, there's no God. And 70 south, there's no common sense. What I say is that if you are an atheist, you would want to invent a God so that you have somebody to pray to when those massive, massive storms hit. Waves can be as high as 15 meters. Now, in the Southern Ocean, all right, look at the Pacific. It's so big that if you pluck out all the land of the earth and put in the Pacific, you'll still have water left around you. It's so huge. In the middle of the Pacific, land north, south, east, west of you is at least 5,000-6,000 kilometers. And here is, that crucial problem a single-handed sailor faces that no other sports person can ever face. You play cricket, you play football, you're playing cricket next week, I believe. You get bored, you get injured, you can walk away, help is at hand. But middle of Pacific, thousands of kilometers from land, if anything were to happen to you, it will take at least 15 days for any help to reach you. In fact, we all sailed past a point called Point Nemo, the oceanic pole of inaccessibility, or the graveyard of satellites. That's where they bring down dead satellites, and we had warnings that satellites might be falling on your head. And then you're around Cape Horn. We don't have words to describe what Cape Horn is, so we just call it the Everest of the oceans. If you're around Cape Horn, you're given two distinct privileges. You are allowed to wear a gold earring on the ear that face Cape Horn, and you're allowed to keep 1 foot on the dining table whenever you have a meal, which is why I don't get too many dinner invitations these days. And then you're done with that. Like Sir Robin says, smell fish and chips, turn left. But after you turn left, it's another 8,000 miles in a boat that's been very tired, a skipper that's very tired. By the time I finished, every part in my boat had been repaired from, the chart table was ripped off, the self-steering was repaired, mast was repaired, sails were repaired multiple times. I ran out of food because the tins of meat that I carried had worms in it and I had to throw them out. And I finished with just rice, tea, and sugar. And I myself lost about 25 kilos. So yeah, if somebody wants to lose weight, I got a program for you. It's just $400,000. And yeah, that's what the sea is.
So it makes it sound very easy, right? It's like climbing the Everest, right? Everybody tries to make it simple. But he has actually broken his spine a few times. He's been, in the last race, he was actually struck at sea. They had to send a evacuation mission. How do you keep your mind active and resilience on, knowing that you failed once and you have to overcome failure in your mind first before you do it in the body, right?
So when I was stuck in the boat with multiple spine fractures, legs paralyzed, can't stand up, can't stand up means I cannot cook, no food, I cannot pump water, so no drinking water, nothing. I was just lying down, a lot of hiccups, a lot of vomiting, and didn't know when somebody is going to come and pick me up. And it's a very lonely place, exactly between Australia and South Africa, dead south of India, 3,000-4,000 kilometers from the nearest land. The Indian Navy and the Australians sent reconnaissance aircraft, and all they could do is just fly over me, see me, and go back. And it was on the 4th day that, a ship came and picked me up. But in those 3.5 days, I was planning my next race. I was, wondering which boat to buy, and I decided I'm going to buy a Rustler 36. So I was like, I'm going to buy this Rustler 36, which is being sailed by this particular sailor in this race, and as soon as he's done, I'm going to, buy it secondhand. Who's going to prepare the boat? Dick Coppens. Who's going to be with the team manager? Sandy Ship, American. So I'd seen all these guys working for their teams, and I wanted them in my team for the next race. Now the big question, who will be the sponsor? Turns out, 2022, March, Bayonet stepped forward as the sponsor, and I want to tell you that thanks to the UAE flag, the Indian flag went around the world.
So there was other instances where other sailors had similar accidents, right? Can you explain what happened during this current race and how you or other sailors helped? What is the bond that develops between the sailors, right, during such a race? You're competing with one another, but you know that within the oceans, sort of 4 of us or 5 of you are together alone.
Together alone, yes. So together alone, when I finished my first circumnavigation, most of the people who met me, they couldn't fathom what happened. 5 months alone. So whenever they would meet me, they would ask me, "Solo akele kiya kya?" Did you do the solo alone? Bureaucrats thought that I had, a peon with me. Navy thought there were ships, around me. But the thing is, sailing is competitive, but it's collaborative. 2018, when I had the accident, the first person to turn towards me was my nearest competitor. His boat was completely dismasted. He rigged a jury rig. He spoke to his team manager because he knew he was out of the race. He called his team manager, and his team manager said, at this point, as a sailor, as a seaman, your only duty is to go for Abhilash. He rigged a jury rig. He was crawling at a speed of 2 knots, which is 4 kmph, and he tried to come towards me. 2022, my good friend Tapio's boat sank in the South Indian Ocean, and we competitors were, the nearest people to him, and I was the first to respond, turned my boat and headed straight for him. And luckily, somebody else reached him before I could, but sailing is competitive yet collaborative. Now, before the start of the race, 2022, I had a collision. The bow of my boat was completely destroyed. There was damage to the mast, and just 3 weeks to the start, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to make it this time or not. Now, 2018, spine fractured, I had to retire. 2022, I got money, I got a decent boat, good team, and because of this collision, there was a chance that I might not make it. As soon as I reach harbor, the boat is pulled out, and I see every competitor and their manager drop in and tell me, if you need anything, just give us a shout. We are there. There was a Turkish entrant who came and cleaned up my boat while I just went to take a shower. There were entrants who would come and drop food. There were entrants who were looking for solutions, and everybody, all my competitors, wanted to make sure that I was in the race. I did not retire even before it started.
So let me ask you about the 2 M's, right? Mental resilience and mindset. What role did mental resilience play in this process? And how did you maintain a positive mindset during the whole time?
Well, mental resilience is, obviously, it plays a very important role. Question is, how do you get resilient? So there's a long answer for that. The short answer is delayed gratification. Either you genetically have resilience in you, or you can develop it through delayed gratification. The second question was positive attitude. It's quite simple. I meditate, I chant, and I focus on my breathing. That resets your emotional point. It leads to a stage where you accept the situation that is there, and then you take the right decisions and move forward.
Were there any particularly very difficult decisions that you had to take?
Yeah, when my wife told me that she's pregnant, deciding to continue sailing on was quite tough. After the accident, I come home. I got 5 fractures in my spine. I'm picked up from this boat. Boat's destroyed. It's my boat. Nobody sponsored it. It's my boat. It's destroyed. I'm brought to India. They put me through an MRI machine. They find 4 fractures. They put me in a special plane, send me to Delhi. 18 days after the accident, my back is cut open. They put 2 titanium rods, 8 screws, 5 vertebrae fused.
So people don't know. Set off the airport.
Sorry?
You set off the airport?
I set off all the alarms in the airport. So, from being a guy who could do squats with just one leg, I was reduced to a person who could not climb a step this tall. I needed a walker to get out of my bed. When I came home from the airport, I was brought in a wheelchair, and my wife is pregnant. I'm supposed to be looking after my wife. Now she is looking after me. So it was not the best time. Financially, I was like minus 4 crore debt. I was a very rich man in the negative sense because I had all this money to pay back to. I had to recover my health. My wife was pregnant. I had to make sure that we had a healthy baby. Wasn't the best of time, but that's when I decided to go back to sea. It was a tough call, but my wife supported, my mom supported, and it's thanks to them, and of course, Bhainath, that I'm back.
There's very little that we could do. We only had to give him money when he asked for it. But the journey that he went through, right, that plays the inspiration, that still plays an inspiration for individuals like me, and for us as G42, as Bhainath, because we keep bringing him up as Peng or Hassan. They bring you up as, in business meetings, as, if he could cross the sea, why can't you do this, right? But coming back to our discussion, right? How did your perspective on life, right, or on sailing, and maybe we should look at it as 2 separate questions. How did your perspective on life change after this journey?
It changes during the journey, not after. So what I say is that you have to live away from the world to understand the world, right? And when you are alone in solitude, cut off from the world, you start realizing things that you wouldn't if you were here. I'll give you a simple example. Sorry. Let's say we have these commonly held beliefs of guilt, of morality, of what is right and wrong, stuff like that. Those things don't exist when you are at sea. Opinions. Most of the time, you are making an opinion of every person that you see. And then you're worried about what the other person is thinking about you. Now imagine not having to do this. Imagine the kind of freedom that you can experience. Now every day, each day in your life, your interaction is with the external world. You get up, check your messages on the phone, go for a quick shower, breakfast, you're interacting with the outside world. Then you dress up nicely because you want to show off, and then you get into your expensive car and get out, and there is, you're driving to your office, traffic signs, you're interacting with that, then the billboard saying, buy this, there is this mall here, and then you go to your office, there is external interactions right till the moment you sleep, and you have not spent a single moment with you. Out at sea, the sea is gray, the sky is, gray, or it's black, or it's blue, there's nothing else. There's a storm, or it's peaceful, that's it. There are no external stimulations, and in the absence of external stimulations, an inward journey starts, where you start discovering yourself. And this goes on and on. It's a process of consolidation. And finally, what I say is that every man carries within him a germ, a seed. And when you go to sea, it germinates. It depends on what kind of person you are, what sort of philosophies you've been taught, what culture you come from. It germinates its seed. You become the person that you are supposed to be. And when you come back, you're such a pure person, right? But a few months later, people start demanding attention, and you put up one wall, another wall, another wall, another wall, and you become what you were before you started.
What advice would you give aspiring sailors or individuals who want to embark on this mission, like climb the Everest, for example, right?
There was a time when I used to say, stay single. But my advice would be take risk, but graduate very slowly. Take this much of risk and a little bit more, a little bit more. And 20 years down the line, you wouldn't have realized how far you have come. But you have made a huge, huge voyage. A lot of people back home in India think that, I had this idea one day, I got a boat and cast off and left. What they don't know is that I've been sailing for more than 25 years. And I started with small boats, then I became a manager, I helped somebody else go around the world, then I did my own trip, and then I tried my race and broke my spine, and then I went back and finished it. So this journey is 24 years of life.
Amazing. How do you prepare physically and mentally for a race of such magnitude, right? What are the pre-prep?
Physically, I don't spend too much time preparing because just working on the boat develops muscles that you need. Mentally, I think the most important thing is you should want to do it. And that's good enough. That's a difference between solitary confinement and solo sailing. Solitary confinement is involuntary.
Yeah, you make it sound very simple. I'm going to try.
It is.
Yeah, how has the Golden Globe race influenced your view of life or the future goals that you have set for yourself?
Well, it's 1968 technology, right? Boats are very small, and if so much can be achieved with so little, I think we can live our lives with very little and still be contented. So my constant effort has been to remove, reduce, live a simpler life.
But has it changed your perspective on what is important and what is not important?
The thing is, nothing is important after you've done something like this. You've been through so much that, the problems that you face every day is nothing.
Amazing. I want to give the opportunity to members of the audience to actually, if they have questions, maybe I can see we got 8 minutes left. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, if that's okay with the organizers, I'm sure this is not something that I've checked, but would you like to ask Abhilash any questions? There's a hand there in the middle, yeah.
Thank you, very inspiring. I mean, I was just listening and it's like a meditation in a way that you can imagine how you have gone through the sea. My question to you is very simple, is when you're in a long journey like this, where your target is maybe thousands of kilometers away, right? And you are sailing, so how do you, keep your target in mind and at the same time enjoy the journey? Because all of us in our careers, we are also have a target, maybe at some point to retire or something. But this is a journey going and you have a mindset to reach. So how do you keep your target in mind at the same time enjoy the journey? Just your experience. Thank you.
So this is a very interesting question he's asked because, long ago I nearly gave up sailing because sailing is uncomfortable. It's there's always seawater in your hair, water dripping on your eyes when you're sleeping. You're constipated because of stress. It was like 16 days. I went to the toilet only twice. You can't cook and eat. It's you're constantly nauseous. You feel like vomiting, and then lack of sleep. It's trouble. And then you look at the destination. You look at your target. And you're counting days, 9 days at this speed, I'll be in a hotel and I'll have a normal life. And then the speed drops. And then like 9.5 days. 9.5 days, I'll be in a hotel. And the speed picks up and then you're happy. 8 days, I'll be in a hotel. one day I realized that all the discomfort was coming from the fact that I was constantly thinking of the place where I wanted to be instead of the place where I was. And I made that fundamental change. Instead of looking at the target, I just decided to live in the moment, accept what was around me. And I had to just live in the moment till I reached the destination. Life became much simpler. So when I'm, setting off on a voyage that is 30,000 nautical miles, it's a huge task, but I just decided to live in the moment, the right things that I need to do now, and focus just on that. And these days just pass, and 236 days later, you are at your destination.
Much retired Commander Abhilash Tomi. It's been a pleasure. We can take up to one more question if anyone from the audience would like to ask the last question.
Sorry, it's a very basic question, but why would you want to subject yourself to all this self-torture? Was it just because you would become a winner and hold an award, a plaque, some money, what?
Well, I'll quote somebody else, because to live in the shadow of what other men have done is not living at all. I've been asked this question many times, and I finally found the answer in a book about the 1968 Golden Globe race. And the answer is, that's not for me to find out, that's for you to figure out why I do it. I do it because I have to do it.
Thank you so much to the
Just
retired
last
Commander
Just one.
Abhilash Tomi. Sure, perhaps this will be the last question for sure.
We had an earlier speaker who gave this quote, adversity, I think, breeds resilience, and you are a true example of that. My question is, what's your next challenge?
Bringing up my kids. I did plan to fly around the world in 2016. Someday I might revive that. But yeah, maybe. I've not decided what to do next. Focus right now is on kids, family. They've missed me for a long time. The thing about these races that when you come back, you have to refresh all these connections. Out at sea, you don't have any of these relationships. But when you're back, you have to refresh your connection with your wife, your kids, your parents, your brother, with your bank account, and all those things. So I'm in that stage now.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to the retired Commander Abhilash Tomi. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. And thank you to CA Renal Rove for being the moderator of this session. I would like to invite on stage Mr. Richard D'Souza and Mr. Arun Sadagopan to hand over the memento. Ladies and gentlemen, we're left with one more speaker for today, and that speaker is Porinjo Veliath, ace investor and founder, talking about equity intelligence. Before we can get started, I'd like to ask the AV team to play the introductory video.
Purinju Veliath, founder of Equity Intelligence, is among the most successful investors in Indian equity markets and has been instrumental in generating immense wealth for his investors for over 2 decades. Before founding his company, he had an illustrious professional career for a decade with Kotak Securities and Parag Parikh Financial Services. Over time, Mr. Veliath has grown to be one of the prominent exponents of value investing principles in the Indian markets. Mainstream media call him Small Cap Czar, and millions on social media follow him closely to learn and get inspired. Besides investing, he is passionate about farming and supports several philanthropic activities. He has also been a long-standing director with the Arya Vaidya Pharmacy, a preeminent institution of Ayurveda.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up to Mr. Veliath to come up on stage.
Good afternoon, dear friends. It was great listening to Mr. Abhilash Tomi and his adventurous journey and the inspiring quotes and takeaways. And again, interviewed by Mr. Renil, a good friend and an inspiring professional, I would say. And as an emerging, very big. That's what I understand. I was invited by the chairman, our John George. So I was initially making my apprehension that I'm not a great speaker. So people used to make me comfortable by making an interactive session sometimes. And thank you, the organizers, for inviting me in spite of all those things. And there is no subject given to me. Capital market is very wide. And the reason maybe I was called, I think the investing, trading, that segment is really growing. The number of people involved in the trading and investing is really going up in a big way the last few years, especially after the COVID. I would like to put it, the civilizational rise of India in the next 25 years. This could be an amazing theme. This is about the next 25 years. And that means the economy is going to expand massively, like never before in the history of India. And that means equity investors are going to create more wealth in the next 25 years than the last 75 years. So we have all the reasons to keep your savings in Indian equities. I think this is something everybody will agree to. I have seen 3 decades of the Indian capital markets. I started my career in 1990 with Kotak in Mumbai. I was privileged to be the first Keralite in the Bombay trading ring. The Bombay Stock Exchange started in 1875, which is the oldest stock exchange in Asia. Much before Japan or Hong Kong, any other exchanges, we had a stock exchange in India. Even though it was informally was there since 1851, in my understanding, it was officially recognized as an association of brokers in 1875. The second stock exchange of Japan in Asia, it started after 3 years in 1878. So it was a wonderful journey for me. I have traded in the Bombay float, the outcry system, to the most modern electric T+1 system today. So this is, I'm talking about 34 years now. I have traded when India was purely a socialist country, and now almost a free market economy. I think you will agree with me. I have traded in the market when we were struggling. We were pledging our gold reserves to stay afloat. To a time now, the mind-boggling kind of reforms have been happening. And the whole world is looking at India today. The world cannot ignore India anymore. There cannot be any geopolitical formations without India. That's the kind of strength, the powerful leadership India is moving into. And this will be visible more and more in the coming years. During these 34 years, I have seen many scams, market crashes, starting with Ashad Mehta scam in 1992. We had so many of such crises, global financial crisis. We have seen many governments, many political parties forming governments and coming and going. We have seen of late a COVID. In spite of all those things, India has given, or the broader stock market indices have delivered 14% CAGR. Now, nobody has to explain to chartered accountants the power of 14% CAGR. Whereas smart investors, little more smarter than the ordinary investors, they have created something like 15 to 20% returns all these decades. So this is the past. I started the career as a floor trader. It was not a big thing. It was, having a badge holder, you can enter the trading ring, you can transact on behalf of a broker. You used to have a block in which you have to write. It has to reciprocate by the buyer-seller. So it was a very interesting time. Things have changed a lot. We have come a long way out of that. So what is in the future? That's more important. The past has been amazing. It has been very rewarding to me. It has been very rewarding to a lot of investors who have bet on my ability to pick stocks. So now what is there in the store is the most important factor that everybody wants to know. See, I am more bullish on the Indian the equity investing today than any other period in my career. See, this is looking at the future. From here, if you see next 5 years, 10 years, or the so-called 25 years, we are talking about Amritkal vision. Our PM Modi has set a target for Indian economy to grow to $30 trillion by 2070, 47, sorry. So there is nearly 25 years more. So this means equity investors can create wealth like never before in the past. And this is a golden opportunity, a golden era where equity is going to be, Indian equity, Indian stock market, Indian economy is going to be in the limelight, and the world can never ignore us. That's why it is already, there are symptoms. It's already playing out. That's why the stock market has been rising so much in the last 3 to 4 years since COVID. And every year, every month, you might have been listening to people who have been cautioning you. The valuations in India are very high. Be careful, be cautious. Markets could crash. Most people feel that markets could crash. So those kind of opinions could be based on the past. Many cycles, market cycles are always there. We cannot escape. Now this Amritkal vision of attaining $30 trillion from today, we all know we are still struggling much below $4 trillion. with a per capita income of $2,600. And anybody knows the per capita GDP of globally? How much? 2,000. No, I mean the nearly 8 billion people divided by the global economy size. 8,000. No. No. Oh no, that's a bit higher. It is $12,500 today, the global per capita GDP, and we are at $2,600. To reach the global average, when we say global average, including all African countries, all Asian countries, the third world countries, all put together, along with US and Europe, we are $12,500. So to reach that global average level, India need to have at least $20 trillion economy. So there is a huge gap. And now there are so much of tailwinds, and we are also doing the right things. You know, since 1992, the reforms have been in the right direction. All of you will agree. The current regime has only accelerated that. And, you know, so that acceleration is going into a different level. So these reforms and the policies are going to be the most important factor which will drive this future of India. So there are three factors, what I understand, you know, what we have to look for. One is the demography. Demography, all of us know, India is in a very big sweet spot. We have been talking about this since some time, about the demographic dividend. This is a once in 1,000 years kind of an opportunity for India to take advantage of that demographic dividend. And I feel the complete system, the government, the mindset of India is in tune to that. So we are going to see a future based on this very advantageous part of our demography. We have a more concentration of population between 15 to 40. And whereas China has something like from 35 to 65 is the concentration of population. This makes a huge difference and advantage for India. And we all tend to underestimate this advantage. You know, especially for equity investors, those who watch the economy, this is amazing thing. And we are set to take advantage of this demographic dividend. That's the most important thing. Secondly, the socio-economic structural trend. This is also very important. If we need to have this future, you know, taken advantage, or the future, what we visualize through this Amritkal vision, if that has to happen, we should have different aspects. Otherwise, it can die down on the way sometime. So this socio-economic structural change or structural trend is also very important. That is also really happening. We have been doing it for last maybe over a decade, and we are again accelerating those things. You know, the kind of, what we say, the formalization of economy, or the formalization, increase in the formalization of the businesses. Second, in the financialization of the savings. That's also very important. It was not happening like this earlier. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, people were all putting money in the FD, real estate or gold. Now there is a financialization happening which is also important for boosting the economy. And when we talk about this socio-economic thing, there are many aspects. One is, again, the geopolitics. Geopolitics, we have got a non-alignment kind of policy, which is also very, very much helping us to grow and to have a very important position in every geopolitical issues every geopolitical crisis or every geopolitical formation, India has to be there in the future. We are feeling it more and more, and will be more evident in the coming years. The young India, as we discussed, there's very energetic, the kind of spirit, the entrepreneurial spirit. I can see I know many people coming to Gulf. They have been working for a company. Now they want to be entrepreneurs. They're resigning the job, very highly paid, very safe, excellent jobs. I know many entrepreneurs. I know somebody sitting here also, I know. So that will make a huge change to the person, to the family, to the society. So now see the Bangalore, what's happening in Bangalore. It's becoming like a microcosm of things to come for India. There will be many other cities in the future becoming like, such innovation hubs, incubation hubs. So a couple of weeks back, I was in Chennai, the Madras IIT. So there was a proposal to invest in a company called, it's an e-plane company. There is a professor called Professor Satya Chakravarti. I'm sure some of you will be heard this name. He is even having a rocket company, like Tesla is trying to make, or they're already doing. And the kind of energy among the youngsters over there, it was amazing. This e-plane company could perhaps be India's first real aircraft manufacturing company by all aspects. Now, HAL is doing it, but very differently, not everything of an aircraft. So I have committed to invest $1 million from personal account. It's a big money for me. I'm not that rich like many people sitting here. So it's taking a chance. It's a very small thing now, like a shed in Chennai IIT. And the kind of ecosystem, the kind of spirit and, the kind of funding. Now somebody like me is willing to put $1 million in that kind of a venture yet to take off. So the kind of confidence people behind, it's amazing. This is across India. The youth of India is in a very different mood today. They are thinking big. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. They want to create things. So this will go very long for our Amritkal vision and to become a $30 trillion economy. I'm very confident. And that means stay invested in equities. You have no choice. And ride it. There are various aspects. A lot of people are now getting into trading, as we are discussing in the afternoon session. A lot of people are going into futures and options. So these are all fine, but staying invested, even somebody with small savings should start investing in India. It can go a long way. It can create huge wealth. Now, our own experience, we have been doing portfolio management for last 21 years. Equity Intelligence is my firm's name. It's a very focused, we don't do broking or any, not even marketing. So it's something very niche, kind of a boutique portfolio management company. So our 21 years return, CAGR return is 22%. Despite the fact that I had a big underperformance in 2018 for certain reasons, it was a very big dent in our performance track record. Despite that, in spite of that, a 22% means somebody who invested 10 lakh rupees. In those years, we used to have 10 lakh rupees as the minimum investment. Now, it is 50 lakhs as per the government guidelines. The 10 lakhs became 5.6 crores. And the taxation was very low. Even the long-term capital gain tax is recently introduced. So there are a lot of people who have performed better than me. I'm not trying to boast something very special. There are a lot of people have, investing oneself. See, mutual funds will have a problem. It's quite large kind of assets under management. They will be almost in line with the broader indices or the broader stock market, or I would say it will be connected to the economic growth. So today, the number of people, I think we have got around 8 crores, 80 million demat accounts, people who own equity directly or through the mutual funds or portfolio management kind of schemes. So this is also that financialization of the economy, I mean the savings. And overall, there are so many threads connecting together, making this Amritkal vision possible. You can see that if you just sit down, close your eyes, and just try to see without any bias, what's happening in India, the kind of themes. I have a lot of appreciation for the current regime. I used to express it very openly, not because of any politics. I don't have any political leanings. But the way this government has been trying to lead the economy with a long-term vision, a sustainability. It is not about, what India is today. It's not about the 1,400 million stomachs to feed. That used to be our earlier slogan. Today, that's not a challenge because that has been ignored now. It's not required. We need not worry about that. It will happen. Today, it is about the keeping the youth in India engaged. And they are going to be the future. The children born today, the children born now, they are going to be the future consumers. They are going to be the future workforce. So that is the reason when we talked about the demographic dividend, when we have got 40% Indians below the age of 25. This is amazing. So they are the future consumers, they are the future labor force. So that is going to drive the economy to this so-called $30 trillion economy. Now, when we talk about the massive scale of reforms, of the infrastructure built up, infrastructure is very important. We have provided the kind of amount, even the latest budget, last year budget, we have given 240,000 crores for railways, only for railway. This used to be 7,000-8,000 crores 10 years ago. And this is almost double of what we provided the previous year. Next year it can be 3.5 lakhs or 4 lakh crores. And we need that kind of a capex to create, to maintain such kind of a large railway network in India, the roads, the ports, the airports. And this is amazing thing happening. The massive scale of infrastructure built up. This also is very much important, and we are in the right direction with that regard. Then only we can think of a $30 trillion economy. So everything, that's the kind of what I told, the different threads are getting together, making this possible. So I have never seen the kind of optimism among Indians, among the youngsters, among the entrepreneurs, the kind of optimism and the kind of confidence of going ahead. People sitting here, all of you also will be feeling it. See how your friends are feeling it, how things were maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years ago. So India is in an entirely new direction. The biggest beneficiaries are going to be the stock market investors. So I'm not a great speaker, as I told earlier. I would be more like, if you guys ask me something, there can be like interactive session, which could be more helpful, I think, for the audience. I think almost all of you are waiting for the big grand gala dinner, and so I don't want to take you much time. So, see, another thing, the clean balance sheets, one point I had noted down. India never had such clean balance sheets for companies and banks. Our banking system is so healthy today and so clean today like ever before. We never had such kind of a clean banking system. We have cleaned up. It's a wonderful thing done. These all are it's all required for this time. So from every aspect I am seeing this Amritkal vision coming. I even won't be surprised to achieve this kind of target, to achieve this kind of objective, it can even happen a few years earlier. I won't be surprised. That is the speed at which we are moving. That is the scale at which we are building it up.
Any questions?
So I would be more comfortable if anybody has any doubts.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the insights that are given and the growth we are expecting in the near future. One question, especially for you are known for the small caps and the middle caps. As you say, you can see the future journey, future growth of next 20, 30 years. How do you say, should we stay invested for the long term in the small and mid caps and not in the large caps, that we can see the better growth in small and mid caps coming future? Because new companies are coming, new ideas are coming, new thoughts, new entrepreneurs are coming. So it is evident that in the last 1 or 2 years, the middle caps and the small caps has given much better return than even the large caps. What is your opinion? Should we focus more on the small caps or mid caps than the large caps, or still as a classical investor will go for the large caps?
See, I don't believe in equity investing you have to be very much bothered about these divisions, small cap or mid cap or large cap. See, I understand the blue chip large cap investing is one method. I think a lot of retired people follow that. They need not worry much about it. Margin of safety is much higher. And I know people doing it and nothing wrong in that. It may, if you select properly, it may give you much more than the market kind of return. But for me, I hate to buy a perfect company, a very large company, well-proven kind of credentials, fantastic management, clean balance sheet. I won't invest in that. Because that anybody can do. And that pricing will be already reflecting. So, but I'm not telling you should not invest in that. That's the best way to invest, to be on the safest way. See, once I heard an early influencer called Chandrakant Sampath. So I was privileged to be very close with him. I used to engage, execute his trades. He is known as the Warren Buffett of India. He was the guru for Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, Radhakrishnan Damani, and many others. And I'm proud that I only introduced Chandrakant Sampath to Rakesh and Radhakrishnan and all. We have been all very close friends in the trading ring in the early 90s. So he used to tell me, equity investing is all about the vision, the value, and a bit of luck. There are 3 aspects. The vision is about the trajectory of that business in the future, how that is going to perform. That is the vision. So investors should have the vision. It could be a very small company, mid-sized or large company. So you should have the vision of the trajectory of the future for that business. And coming to the value, so that trajectory of business, how do you relate it to current price? Whether it is a higher price or a lower price. That's where the value comes. Then comes the third aspect of luck. However you do intense research or whatever, the future is unpredictable. So a bit of luck also happens. So these 3 elements, it's all about equity investing. We need not really complicate. Investing is very simple. Understand the company, try to predict the future in a logical manner, and with that future, how it is priced today, whether it's a value or not, buy it if you feel it's a value. So I feel when the economy is, we are looking at the economy creating the next $1 trillion from our whatever near $4 trillion today. Every $1 trillion are going to be faster and faster till the next $30 trillion. So that's very important. When we talk about, now the latest $1 trillion is made. Now I think we have crossed $4 trillion recently, overtaking Hong Kong. Yeah. So we are the 4th highest market cap country today. I'm very sure if this kind of vision happens, we could be the third very soon. And so let us keep the equity investing very simple. You have to have a conviction about India first. If you want to invest in equities, you should form an idea about India logically, not just because our PM Modi told something. You should not get carried away with that. You should logically think whether we are heading for a $30 trillion economy. If you are convinced about the idea, yes, there is no way other than investing in equities. You have to do it. Then you have to look at the value, whether the market is overheated. See, we used to have, by any standards of my understanding, experience of the last 33 years, markets would have crashed in the recent past. The kind of valuations for small and mid caps have gone up. I am still holding some stocks which has gone 35 times since COVID. Small stocks which I am talking, I invest personally into very small companies. And, please understand, the small cap companies, they become the mid caps and the mid caps become large caps. Any company you take, Reliance was a small cap some point of time. So there is nothing like, so when you invest in a small cap, it becomes a large cap. Then you make maximum money. When you invest in a large cap company, it does better, do well, and it becomes slightly larger company, it may be not that exciting. It may not be a big multi-bagger. But here, India, when we talk about the Amrit Kal vision and $30 trillion economy, I am telling you, many large cap companies today will become multi-baggers.
Yeah.
When I joined the market in 1990, I still remember it was some 950 points of Sensex. After I joined, I remember, I think something in July 1990, markets closed at above 1,000. It was a big celebration. At the same time, a lot of people were apprehensive. Oh, now Sensex has come 1,000 points, all-time high. Be cautious, sell. So I remember a lot of people used to short sell because Sensex gone to all-time high of 1,000 points, a benchmark, a landmark. Same thing happened when, in 1992, January, I remember, Sensex crossed 2,000. And then what happened? In February, it was 3,000. By March, next month, it became 4,000. Then happened the Harshad Mehta scam and the crash of markets. Then by something like 2006, I think we crossed 10,000 Sensex points. Then everybody became bearish. Markets have close to 10,000. People can't believe Sensex at 10,000. Today we are talking about 70,000 today. So if somebody predict 1 lakh points, Sensex will go. I think it's so childish. It will happen. Everybody knows. Somebody said 2 lakh points of Sensex. In most of us in our lifetime, we are going to see it. Or a 3 lakh points, or it can be 5 lakh points in the lifetime of some of you sitting here. Because we are talking about a $3.5 trillion economy going to $30 trillion economy. Why not? Yes.
Yeah. I'm Nimish Lokhanwala. Thanks for your insights. What I wanted to ask you was with respect to these public issues which are taking place at very high value and all, and then later on we find that prices are going low after the public issues. So a lot of investors are taken for a ride, in my view. But is there any way government can bring about some kind of a regulation to overcome this problem? And second thing is with respect to this Adani episode, what is the best way to regulate such kind of things happening which can affect our international reputation?
Okay, thank you. I think the first question is about...
Right issue, public issues.
Yeah, the public issue with high valuations, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those promoters believe in India. So they are seeing the future. At the same time, I would like to warn there are a lot of companies coming out just to take your money and vanish. It is happening in the last few months, I know. through the SMEs, small and medium enterprises. But not everything. Some of those companies, we may feel it's highly overpriced looking at the fundamentals today. But the future prospects, its potential could be very high. And collecting money, raising funds from the capital market, that can be expedited. So when a country like this, as I told you, this is a once in 1,000 years opportunity. Not 100 years I'm talking. Once in 1,000 years opportunity in front of India. In terms of demography, in terms of infrastructure development, each of those aspects what we discussed. So why not? So the companies are aspiring to be. Even I used to feel very apprehensive about the valuations. I used to be very unhappy. And there are some of the manipulated, managed public issues. You have to be very careful. Even after the public issue, some of those companies not really worth it. They go 5-10 times being manipulated. So just ignore. If you are not sure about those valuations and the company, please ignore. We have got amazing set of companies on the other side, which has got clear, visible kind of fundamentals. Why not? So, and the second question was about Adanis. Adanis are doing a good job, in my opinion. See, here again, it is the kind of, the opportunity what India is offering. So there are some very aggressive people, maybe with the blessings of the governments. We have seen it earlier also, nothing new. We had Ambanis or Birlas, anybody, anywhere in the world, especially in a developing economy, the industrialists should be encouraged by the government. They should be helped. I feel we need at least 20, 30 Adanis to have this kind of a $30 trillion economy to be built up. So they are doing an amazing job, and nobody lost money. We cannot say any investor lost money by investing in Adanis. There's a hugely rewarded. The Adani investors, those who invested maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, they have been rewarded unlike any other companies. 100 times, 200 times kind of returns have been created. Now, our public sector, LIC invested, so it was under a lot of criticism. They are also making money, big money. So, but here one thing I feel personally, first you create a market capitalization. Then the fundamentals follow. Normally, in our logical thinking, it doesn't work. First, you have fundamentals, company has such and such growth, the sales and profitability, and the visibility for the future. Then a market cap happens. But now it's a bit reverse, but it's also equally good. It's good for the nation. It's good for the people. It creates employment. It creates infrastructure, very important infrastructure they are doing. So a little bit of here and there political favor, some manipulation, some ED kind of CBI kind of things. I'm not much bothered about it. I'm looking at the big picture. Let Adanis create wealth. We all will enjoy it.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll take one last question.
Hi, sir. My name is Rama Naidu. Nowadays, we are hearing about de-dollarization, and countries like UAE and India, Russia are trading in their own local currencies. How will it impact the Indian stock markets going forward? Because we can see the clear trend that globally, countries are moving away from dollar.
You mean the geopolitics?
Yes.
Yeah. See, it's very interesting to see. We buy cheap oil from Russia, and America, US consider you still as a great friend. This would have never happened unless we have become very, very strong like this. So India is, in my opinion, the foreign policy, the stance we take for the various geopolitical crises or events, I think it is very good. We are not very much aligned to any particular kind of thing. We keep everybody friends. Now India is very friendly with GCC countries, with Abu Dhabi or the UAE, Saudi Arabia. I really appreciate the government for keeping that relationship very strong and making it much stronger. So India, as I told you, world cannot ignore India anymore. We are really a superpower today in terms of, when it comes to geopolitical formation. The other superpower, like becoming the big economy kind of things are pending. So that is why it will happen. All these things are going to be the background for creating the $30 trillion economy. So we are in the right direction. Our reforms are in the right direction. And there is I think luckily we have a lot of political stability, I would say. There is a strong political leadership. So all these things are very much conducive for much bigger things and much faster growth to be a very powerful country in the world, a very big economy in the world. So equity investment is going to be fantastic for going forward. And chartered accountants, I know I have a lot of respect to the community. And after I think the civil service exams, I heard this is the toughest exams to pass the chartered accountants in India. And that means all of you are very bright, intelligent people, and financially also should be sound being a chartered accountant. So I suggest invest directly into equities. It's very interesting. It will be a learning process also. Whatever busy schedules you have, busy profession you have been doing, it makes no need of looking every day to the stock market movement or the stock price movement. Create a bouquet of businesses which could outgrow the economy in the coming 25 years. You need not look at the portfolio every day. So create that kind of, well-managed companies, reasonable size. If you have to forget the stock, it has to be having a proper size also, as the gentleman was asking about the large caps, mid caps, and, well-managed companies by ethical promoters. Now, see, one more thing. We used to have a lot of small companies, small and mid-cap segment, where the promoters used to be unethical. They used to siphon out money to avoid paying taxes. That era is over. We are moving towards more of a rule-based economy. That is one reason I have been supporting this present regime since 2014. There is an intention at the government level to have a rule-based economy. It's not an easy thing in every aspect of the economy. A rule-based economy is very important. So these companies are changing its profile. Some of those chore companies, I hope all of you understand, they are becoming professional. This transformation will create multi-baggers. I'm giving you a clue. So watch for the bad companies which are turning around in terms of governance and, provided that business should have a future. It should be a futuristic business. It should not be disrupted by something, a new technology or something. You have to be watchful on that regard. So the enthusiasm, the confidence of young India is going to make it. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Porinjo, for your insightful speech. We're very happy to have you here with us today. And thank you for being the last speech for the second day of the seminar. I would now like to call out on our Professional Development Committee members, the team leader, CA Anno Thomas, and team members, CA Suma Rajesh, along with CA Munish Mohan, our social team member, to hand over the memento. Thank you to our last speaker of today's seminar and to all of our speakers who have been an instrumental part of making this event a successful one. Thank you to all of our attendees who have taken time out of their weekends to be here with us and to learn together from our speakers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute pleasure to be the host for this seminar, and now I would like to call out on C.A. Krishnan to take over for further proceedings. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. We have a musical event and gala dinner, which will be start at 5:30. The start will be at 5:30, and then the musical event will start around 7 o'clock. So we have limited time, so I'll keep the vote of thanks short. I would request everyone to stay over here. At the end of this one, there will be a raffle draw. The Apple Watches are there. Request everyone to stay over here. It gives me immense pleasure and honor to conclude the deliberation of the second day of the 35th Annual International Seminar themed as Innovation Empowering Next Gen. We all believe that the delegates present over here are enriched with their knowledge and experience shared by our learned speaker. A big round of applause to all the speakers who spent their valuable time in spite of their busy schedule. As we continuously strive to provide an exceptional networking and knowledge sharing platform, it would not be possible without everyone's presence. Hence, my sincere thanks to all the members, guests, and delegates present over here. A big round of applause for all of you. Today, as similar to yesterday, we had a great line of speakers. There are 5 speakers have spoken. 5 sessions we had, starting with C.A. Darpan Inari, a gold medalist on Para-Asian Games. The amount of conviction, the amount of confidence which he had is not measurable. We have to thank his mother to have such a confidence to bring him to the stage. It's very difficult for a mother to bring a kid which is having blind. Then panel discussion on startup. We had a very beautiful discussion, very good discussion on the startup by the panelists, Mariam, Mas Sheikh, Wolf, Noura Hasim, and which has been moderated by Mohammad Shafiq. Then the Lakshmi Agarwal. We all are in tears when we heard the story of Lakshmi Agarwal. And I would urge everyone to contribute to the NGO, which will be benefit for the society. It will be good. So it's a small amount which we can contribute. In Indian rupee, it will be a good amount. Certainly, it is going to benefit the people who are in needy. Then post-lunch session, we had a wonderful discussion about the journey of Captain Ali Abhilash Tony, moderated by C.A. Ranal Raf, our own C.A. community member. Then the end of the discussion by C.A. Mr. Purinju Velayat, Ace investor and founder, Equity Intelligence. We are all interested in equity market. It was good to have a session, a knowledge sharing session from him. And as we all know, there will be a lot of opportunities for us to be invested in the equity market the way the Indian economy is growing. The Sensex is almost close to 22, and they are talking about 25, 26 in a short span of time. Now, it is time for us to honor the people who have been supported us for this journey. This year, 2023, we have done close to 19 PDC events. Some members have been so meticulous and attended all the event. Out of that, we have selected 3 members who are in the top category who have attended close to 63 CPE hours, almost 17 PDC events they have attended out of 19 PDC events. One, Mr. C.A. Deepak Kumar Shah. May I request C.A. Deepak Kumar Shah to come on stage. Then C.A. Galib Kotayan. And then C.A. Kummu. C.A. Galib. May I request C.A. John George and our founder chairman C.A. Richie D'Souza to come on stage to honor the members who have attended almost all the PDC events. Thank you, sir. Mr. Galib and Mr. Deepak attended almost 63 CPE hours during the last year out of 74. Request all the members to attend the CPE event. Similar to the crowd over here, we want all the members to attend the CPE event. So more the number of members attend, it will be good for the speakers and it will be good for the chapter, and we'll get good sponsorship also. Request all the committee members, all the members to attend all the events organized by our chapter. The next one is on the volunteers. The record time, this time we had more than 20 volunteers who have spent their valuable time for the last 2 days to ensure that the membership, the memento, the set arrangement, everything over here is been done properly. Over here, particularly in this room, we have 3 chartered accountants who have helped us in managing the memento, the console. May I request CA Amit Talwar, CA Ankita Motwani, CA Malata Lingamurthy to come on stage to receive a certificate of appreciation from CA John George and CA Richard D'Souza. Thank you Ankita, thank you Annik, and thank you Malata. As I said, we have close to 18 volunteers who have helped us, the membership desk, and overall managing the whole affairs of this PD for this event. May I request all the volunteers to come on stage along with their certificate to take a group photo. Arshil Sharaf, Shalok Sharogi, please come on stage to take a group picture with our chairman and our founder chairman. A big round of applause for all the volunteers who spent their valuable time for the last 2 days for the seamless membership registration and this shows our future is in safe hands. The CA community over is there also on the safe hands, and our chapter is also more and more chartered accountant members will be joining the committee in the near future. Thank you everyone, thank you all the volunteers for your support and dedication, the time you have spent for the last 2 days. Thanks a lot. A big round of applause once again for all the volunteers. May I also request all the past chairmen of Abu Dhabi CA chapter and also the committee members of Abu Dhabi CA chapter to come on stage to take a group photograph. Thank you.
Which one? Good evening, everyone. I know I'm in between you and gala dinner, so I'll try to wrap up the proceedings very quickly. Now, this is the moment we've all been waiting for, some raffle draw time. So we'll start with our sponsor raffles. We'll start with Premier Brains Global. They are giving away Apple Watch, and the winner will be picked up based on the business cards. If you haven't already dropped, this is the last chance you can drop your business cards. To present the prize and pick the winner, I would request Mohammad Al-Khatri, partner, Rishi Chawla, partner, Sanjay Gajrani, partner of Premier Brains Global, and Faizan, manager from Premier Brains Global. Last chance if anyone wants to drop their card. Ooh. Okay. All right, it's a draw time now. Yes.
The first winner is Syed Jalil. Syed Jalil.
Syed Jalil, he just won an Apple Watch. Cheer up, guys, please.
From Premier Brains.
Congratulations, Syed Jalil, for winning the Apple Watch sponsored by Premier Brains Global. Now it's time to move on to our next raffle. This is sponsored by Zoho. I would like to call upon Mr. Dinesh from Zoho. And we're going to have a gift hamper raffle based on the business cards. Naresh Kumar. Yeah, we have a winner. It's not working? It's working, right? Congratulations, Naresh Kumar. You just won a gift hamper from Zoho. Thank you. Our next raffle is from NAM Valuers. They are raffling away a bag from Damilano. I would like to request Santanu to draw the raffle.
The winner is, as usual, Mr. Biju George. Biju George. He's a lucky winner, regular winner from our chapter. I think, Biju, we have to keep one prize for you for all the events.
You have just won a bag from Damilano, sponsored by NAM Valuers. So, okay, before we go to a mega draw, which will be 2 iPods, Apple iPods and Apple Watch, I would like to present a gift voucher to Ms. Ishita, who won a quiz this morning. I would like to request her to come on to the dais. Ishita. She's the one. Okay, now it's time for a mega draw, which will be an Apple Watch. Team, can we have a wheel on the screen, please? Okay, can you spin the wheel? CA Vikas Jain. Congratulations, CA Vikas Jain. You just have won an Apple Watch. So this raffle is based on the QR code scan. So we have picked a winner from top 3 most scanned people. And now we're gonna draw 2 more winners for Apple iPod. And this is again based on anyone who scanned the QR code is eligible for the raffle. Not inside? Okay, you need to re-roll. Re-roll, please. Satya Pratap Patra. Yes, we have a winner. Oh, by the way, you're not able to see your names because we have got around 350 people scanning the QR codes. So it's really tiny, you can't really see all the names. And it's time to draw our last lucky winner for today. Please stay back. There is an announcement regarding the delegate gift. Just another minute, please. Now, this is the time for a delegate gift for everyone. And everyone supposed to carry their badges to collect the delegate gift. You'll go down from the escalator from the left side, and on the other side our membership team is there, and you can collect your delegate gift from there. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much for being part of this amazing mega 2 days 35th annual international seminar of ICAI Abu Dhabi chapter. And we would like to see you all at the gala dinner and musical concert. Try to be there by 5:30 p.m. and we have shared the location pin with all the passes. Please try to follow the same pin for parking and the exact location of the gala dinner and the concert.